He laughed into the mic like he'd been waiting his whole life for this punchline. She's not married, not educated, but at least she's good for a check. The crowd roared. My relatives clapped. My mother smiled the way women do when they've been trained to hide humiliation. And my sister, dressed in white, tears in her eyes, pretended it was all in good fun. That's when I stood up. Calm, silent. My hands didn't shake when I reached for the mic. "Oh," I said, voice steady, eyes locked on him. "And that $100,000 wedding gift?" A pause. You could hear the air leave the room. Gone. And that's when he realized this wasn't a toast, it was a reckoning. The betrayal began with a document I was never supposed to see. A bank statement, mailed to my old address, my father's handwriting still listing me as co-signer. I shouldn't have opened it, but curiosity is a dangerous thing. The deposit matched the amount of my sister's wedding fund. The withdrawal, same day, was wired to him. The man who took everything from me. My ex. My father's favorite son. The one who smiled too easily, laughed too loud, and took my father's approval like oxygen. The same man who'd left me after 6 years of loyalty, saying he couldn't handle my ambition. The irony? He handled my money just fine. It took me a week to trace it. My father had invested in my ex's new business, the same one he'd mocked me for supporting when I was still in the picture. They'd both taken what was mine, trust, savings, dignity, and turned it into a joke. So I stayed quiet. I smiled through dinners, I sent my sister congratulations texts, and I started to build something much stronger than anger. First, I became indispensable. I volunteered to handle all the financial logistics for the wedding, vendors, venues, the whole thing. My father thought he was letting me feel included. I let him believe it. Second, I opened a new account. Everything that came through me went through that account. The decorator's advance, the catering deposit, even the photographer's retainer. But I had also filed something else, a fraud report. See, the money Dad gifted my sister came from the company account, the one under my name as partial shareholder. He'd never officially removed me from the board. That meant every withdrawal without my approval was technically illegal. And guess who had authorized the transfers to my ex's business? Dad. It was poetic symmetry. The man who taught me to read contracts didn't read his own downfall. The hall shimmered with gold and white. Everything looked perfect, the way lies always do before they crack. I watched him on stage, gripping the mic, proud of the empire he thought he'd built on charm and control. My ex sat near the front, whispering to a bridesmaid. My sister glowed, unaware that the ground beneath her was already shifting. Then came his toast, the laughter, the humiliation, the silence that followed when I took the mic. "Dad," I began, "you always said family means never keeping secrets." He smiled nervously. "That's right. Then maybe everyone should know where the wedding money came from." The color drained from his face. My mother's hand froze mid-clap. My ex's smirk vanished. I turned to the crowd. The funds came from the company, my company, and the transfers went directly into, I paused, looking right at my ex, his account. Murmurs, cameras, gasps. I let it breathe, let them see him squirm. "And since the authorities have already been notified," I said softly, "I suggest you enjoy the cake. It might be the last sweet thing you taste for a while." I handed the mic to the MC and walked out. Behind me, chaos erupted, voices overlapping, my father shouting my name, my ex rising from his chair like a man walking into his own noose. But I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. They tried to call, to bargain, to justify. I didn't answer. The company was legally mine within a month. The board voted him out quietly to avoid scandal. My ex's business folded under investigation, frozen assets, pending fraud charges. My sister didn't speak to me for a while. I didn't blame her. She was collateral in a war she never saw coming. But a year later, she sent me a message. "Thank you," it said, "for showing me what he really was." I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Some truths don't save you, I wrote back. They free you. People think revenge is about payback. It's not. It's about balance. He laughed into that mic thinking he was untouchable. But I learned something long ago. Men like him never check the ground beneath their feet until it's gone. So yes, the money was gone, but so was his control, his pride, his legacy. And in the silence that followed, with everyone watching, I saw what real power looked like. Calm, deliberate, and finally mine. Because sometimes the only way to silence the mockery is to let them choke on their own laughter.